Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, where you get information that you can use. I'm your host, Ida Crawford. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Just Minding My Business on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Share us with your family, friends, and colleagues. Engage with us by leaving a review or a comment because your support keeps this podcast going and growing. Be sure to visit our website at jmmbmediallc.com to learn how we can support you in getting more visibility on your products and services. So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use. I always enjoy anyone that comes to the Just Minding My Business media platform who helps us to achieve a better mindset because at the end of the day, that's where it all lies. So I'm going to let Paul introduce himself and let him tell you what he is all about.
Yeah, Ida, thank you very much. And this isn't your first rodeo for sure. You had a very eloquent opening there, and it was a mouthful, and you did it very nicely.
Thank
And
you.
my name is Paul Gencarella. I'm actually a junior. My dad's Paul Gencarella Sr. I'm from Rhode Island, the state of Rhode Island. Actually, right now, as I mentioned to you before, Ida, I'm in Cape Cod on a conference. But I'm in the industry. I'm a speaker and also a coach when it comes to the self-improvement industry. But more importantly, that's a broad term. That can go anywhere. I'm in the basically the mindset mentality. My business name is Mindset Mastery, transforming your life one thought at a time. And ultimately, that's what it's boiled down to. Most people want to change their life, but they want to get a special potion, a magic pill, or finding something out in the outside world to help them. And that's not needed. When you discover self-discovery in studying of yourself, and mindset, and behaviors, you realize that it boils down to simple things such as your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we may not feel like having a good attitude, but we should do it anyway. You may not love your spouse, but you should decide to love your spouse anyway. You know what I mean? And that's where most people, they just go based on their emotions. Well, sometimes it's a decision, and that's basically how I got into the industry that I'm in right now, is through a decision. But that decision also has to be rooted in discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't want to be disciplined, whether it's our health, wealth, our relationships, and I think that even if you do 1% better every day, you're going to 10 times your objectives within a matter of weeks, and it's true. I came from the mindset of, oh geez, I want to get it done now and have it all happen. But you have to understand that you have to force yourself to enjoy the journey. And
Mm-hmm.
someone may say, well, what are you talking about? I'm dying of cancer. How can I enjoy the journey? And there are some people suffering from debilitating issues, whether they're physical, mental, and they're really in the present moment, Ida, and they're enjoying the present moment, and that takes them to a different plane. I always make the correlation to the Wright brothers. They invented the airplane, right? They were considered absolute lunatics. What are you guys doing? Nothing heavier than air can fly. It's impossible. Their father wanted to commit them. They thought they were. His father thought they were possessed by demons. It was that bad. but they kept their imagination alive and their idea alive, just like Walt Disney, Sir Edmund Hillary, when he climbed Mount Everest. It took him 3 years. People thought the same thing. Why are you going back? You made it back alive. Why would you go back there to try to climb that mountain? But they have it in their mindsets. You know what I mean? And they become emotionally connected to what they want. And a lot of people say, well, geez, I tried that, affirmation of positive talk and positive thinking, and it never happened. I never got the job promotion, and I never got the health was never better, because you become emotionally connected to it. And that takes practice. That takes repetition. And like our multiplication tables in elementary school, we kept doing them over and over and over, and you finally, you finally memorize them, like the alphabet and the states of the United States, all those things. So, you know what I mean? So those are just a few of the things that have gotten me excited and motivated to share with, not only yourself, but your audience,
Yes, absolutely. And we talked about before it coming on air, everything is up here.
Mm.
Everything.
It is. Yeah. And we forget that.
Yes, we do. And that saying, whatever you believe, that's true. Because if you tell yourself that's what it is, then your mind is going to accept that. So you constantly, I always call it working inside out. It's a constant thing.
Yes.
It's constant.
You hit the nail on the head there. I study that almost 3 times a week, living inside out. It's not allowing the outside world to dictate your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and your behavior. And how often do we do that? Oh, that guy cut me off on the road, or somebody spilled coffee on my pants, or little things. I mean, it doesn't have to be major dramatic things, but when we let those little things build up, that's when there's a negativity. And when we let the little things add up in a good way, they blossom. They really do.
Yes. And one of the biggest things, a lot of beliefs come from childhood. Unfortunately, not all parents are, depending on what area you were born in, you have different beliefs. So how do one get rid of those limiting beliefs, or even acknowledge that they're there?
That is a very astute question, because a lot of people ask it in different ways, but ultimately, how does one that's raised in poverty, so to speak, rise to the top? When you have a child that's been fed with a silver spoon, not able to get there because of whatever reason. The researchers say that environment is more powerful than our genetics, heredity. You know what I mean? And the environment means everything. So now, what happened in the past, or what you're going through now, you can change just by a thought now, saying, okay, what am I going to do to make things better? And I'm going to think of something uplifting. I'm going to think of something inspirational, just to get me through that second. Then that second turns into a minute, turns into a week, and then the next thing you know, it starts flowing. And Tony Robbins, I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Robbins, he basically said, listen, you got to chalk it up once in a while that a person's going to have a bad day. For me, he says, for me, it used to be a bad afternoon, to a bad hour, to a bad minute. Now it's a bad moment. And then I don't let it get any further. I'm that strong with my mentality that I can turn my thinking on the dot like that, and help the person that's either going through an illness or having a poor upbringing to be able to change their environment and get them to where they're going. And you see that, a good example of this is professional athletes that grew up in the ghetto. but they focus so much on their skills to do, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever it may be, and that got them to where they wanted, and that used them. And they may not have gone to the pros, but they got a 4-year college degree for free, and now it led them to other networking opportunities and things along those lines. So anything can happen, whether it's musical instruments, whether it's singing, whether it's math, science, whatever.
Yes, and you absolutely right. Whatever you focus on, you can manifest that. Now, let's talk about income, changing your income using, your mindset, getting your mindset to a place where you come from. Maybe you are in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and like you just talked about, like the athletes, poverty, a lot of the famous athletes come from a poverty type environment. And but there's so many people out there that have started businesses, but they still don't believe.
Right. That's exactly right. And it's funny. I say funny as an ironic. When I first started in this business, and I was talking with my mentor, and ultimately my mentor was Jim Rohn, who died 7 years before I even got to know him. You know what I mean? So YouTube was a great mentor to me of all these speakers. But to get to your question, one of my mentors had said to me, listen, how would you like to take your annual income and turn it into your monthly income? And I scoffed at that. I said, what are you, crazy? Say I was making $150,000 a year, which is, reputable or whatever have you, and turning that into a monthly income, that's making well over $1 million a year. $100,000 a month is $1.2 million a year. I just couldn't get my arms around that. It's because of my mentality. But if I was sitting with Warren Buffett and all his cronies, they would say this guy's only making $1.2 million. You know what I mean? They're making, multi-millions. So it's a mindset at first, Ida. It really is. But you have to have an objective. You can't say to the universe, I want to make a lot of money, and then that's going to manifest for you, because a lot of money could be $10. You have to have an exact amount of money. And then from there, it's not the how am I going to do this? It's the why do I want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And when your why is big enough, it outperforms the why not. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Your why it's not going to happen, it gets outperformed with your why. And it's like, okay, so now I have to journal reasons why I want this. And I have to put a picture in my mind. We think in pictures. If I said to you, think of where your favorite pair of shoes are. You're going to go to your bedroom, your closet, and you're going to have that in your mind where it is. Or tell me if your refrigerator opens with 2 doors, 1 door, left, right. You're going to go to your mind. And it's once you can make an image in your mind, that you can then become more emotionally involved with. And that's what it takes. And it's repetition. And again, I'll tell you this, it can be extremely frustrating when you're trying to get to that. When someone comes along and shoots right up and outperforms you. You know what I mean? Because it was frustrating for me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been in this business for 4 years. This guy's been here for a year and he's already outperforming me, because he's getting more emotionally connected with his goals. It wasn't just the tactics and the mannerisms. I do a gratitude exercise every day. And I'm like, well, geez, I do a gratitude exercise every day. My mind's there. It's getting emotionally connected from an income standpoint as well. And loving money is the root of all evil, yes. But loving what money buys is not. So the point that I'm saying is, as a passionate Christian, you can love money like you love your wife or your husband, but you can't use it in a negative way. When you manipulate it, that's when things start to go south. And there's a lot of people that make a lot of money that are immoral, but it doesn't stay forever. You know what I mean? They end up burning out and it ends up crashing and burning. So, this is, you can have your cake and eat it too. Because some people say, well, geez, he makes a lot of money, but he's a lousy, he's a jerk. He's not a good guy. You know what I mean? You're a good guy, Paul. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean I have to be poor. You can be a good guy and rich and abundant and wealthy, but also understand it's not just monetary. You know, that wealth comes in a number of different forms as
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, definitely. And just changing your mind helps all your relationships with
oh
your
my goodness.
family, with your coworkers,
Yeah,
your customers. It's just an important thing to do is to
Ida,
change your
it's
mindset.
funny what you stop mentioning. It's like it's this what you're saying. I have things even written down, and I had written down here, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change.
Change, absolutely.
You basically just said that, you know what I mean, in a different way, and that's exactly what it is. I have my own beliefs, the way I've been raised and everything. I have to force myself to look at things from a different perspective.
Yes.
And when you change that perspective, that's when things change. They really do. You know, you see those pictures. Is it an old woman or a young woman? And you know what I mean? And it's both. You can see the differences and what the perspective is there. You know what I mean? Is it a frog or whatever else it may be? You know, you have those perception pictures. The point that I'm
Absolutely.
making is we can perceive anything that we want. We can take anything and bring the good out of it. And once you do that on a regular basis, you can convert that to whether it be your waistline, your mind, or your relationships, anything. You can change. But again, it's something that you have to continually do day in and day
Yes.
out. You know, we have a program. You know, it's a module program. There's 12 modules, and you go through those 12. People, I have to explain to them that just because you've completed the 12 modules, it doesn't mean you're all set, you're all done, you're okay. You
No.
keep studying them and you keep getting more out of it, and you figure things out and you start going in different directions and start guiding your life. That's what it's all about. It's not painful, because some people say, oh, it's drudgery to do certain things. When you sit down and watch a wonderful movie or read a great book, you're not working hard. You know what I mean? You're enjoying it. You're taking it in. You're falling in love with it. That's what we need to do about our goals, objectives, and desires, is fall in love with them like we're watching a great movie or reading a great book or eating at a great restaurant. You know what I mean? It just comes naturally. And that's how
Mhm.
it will be, eventually, you know?
Yes. Wow. This is so heavy right now, Paul. For sure. So if people want to work with you, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, it's simple. I work with individuals and businesses, so it's been very inspirational to me, because I had no idea where the business was going to take me. You know what I mean? But I've attracted things into my life that I wanted. But very simply, an email to me, or you can visit. You can email or text is generally the way I do a lot of my business,
Okay.
and we can post that on the chat or whatever have you. But that's the way I go about things.
Absolutely. And we were talking earlier, coaching found me because I wasn't, before it found me, I was a ball of confusion. Something happened, I was reacting. And, once I got a coach and really started understanding how much control I have, it was amazing.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was totally, I felt like, how you go to church and you get saved. It felt like that.
right, right. No, that's true though. Seriously, it is like that though. You know what I mean? It's not figurative. That's literal though. You feel like, because they always had said to me, and this was my biggest struggle. They said, once you get a mentor, your life is going to change. Well, okay. But that's like me saying to the universe, once you get a spouse, your wife is going to change. It's not easy to get a spouse. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, okay, how do I go about doing that? And the point is, it's not worrying about out there. It's writing it down. What do you seek in a spouse? What are the qualities you seek in a spouse? And
Yeah.
fill the pages. And then once you do, read it continually. Then ask yourself a question: who do I need to become to attract what I just wrote?
Wow.
That's the big one. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
Absolutely.
that can be for financial, that can be for relationship, that can be for your health and fitness, everything.
Yeah.
And it's so important to have a coach like you have, like I have, like I've become to a lot of folks. It's critical because you need to bounce things off people. All right, how does this work? Or what about this? Or how come this? And this? You know what I mean? You need to know that, and that's extremely important. You know.
Yes. Yes. And then also it's important when you have a major decision to make. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, being mindset is just the hugest thing on the universe.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. It is.
It really is.
You know,
You know,
if it's used the right way,
yes.
because think about it. I say imagination is important, but how many times do we imagine things in a negative way from worry and doubt? Like, oh, geez, if
Yes.
this happens, and then you create this scenario
Yes.
that hasn't even happened. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's how powerful it is. You can use it the other way. You can, and it works stronger when it's positive.
Yes,
But
it
you
does.
have to be able to exercise that and go through that and understand. I use the euphemism that a lot of people beat cancer even if it kills them because their attitude about it,
Yes.
they never let it take the best of them.
Yes.
And I know a person that's suffering from ALS right now that's my age that hits home to me, and she is an unbelievable champion. How her attitude, it's inspiring to me to to
Yes.
to to leave the conversation I have with her, and when I'm trying to uplift her, she's uplifting me because of her mindset of that. you
Yes.
know and some
Yes.
people can do that. Some people do it subconsciously. They don't even know how they're doing it. But if you can consciously know how to create something good, why would you not want to share that? If I can help someone out reach a goal, a desire of theirs, whether it's health, wealth, relationships, whatever it may be, why wouldn't I share that? It happened for me. It helped me, come from 2 years in a psychiatric hospital. You know what I mean? 2 years in a row. So you know what I mean? Believe me, it's real stuff.
And
You know
it's
what I mean?
important. It's important. It's important, to check in with yourself regularly, and especially when you first get involved with mindset training. I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Your belief muscle is not strong at that point,
Right.
and you're going to need support systems to help you develop those muscles so that when life comes at you from the left, you know how to respond.
Right, right. It's already there. Yeah. That was very eloquently put because it's like a guy that's depressed that's now trying to think of positive things. That's not the time. You know what I mean? The time to fix the roof's not when it's raining. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
when it's sunny out. But when it's
Yes.
sunny, the roof doesn't need fixing. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with our mental health sometimes. We need to build an arsenal of positive material there. So then when we're hit, like you said, from the left, out of nowhere, we're ready to fight it and to put that stuff in our mindset. So we're
Yeah.
not being reactive,
Yes.
we're
And
being
that's one of
proactive.
the things that I learned about one from my mentor and being coached is responding is a whole lot more positive than reacting.
Yeah. It's calculated. You know what I mean? You're able to think about it. Someone sends a sharp text to you, whatever. Your initial reaction is to respond negatively or negatively from a sarcastic standpoint, whatever have you. Same with traffic. Someone cuts you off. Your immediate you have to physically prepare yourself for these things that are going to happen. And then
Yes.
when it does happen, you're already there. You've prepared yourself. So it's almost
Yeah.
like getting in the car saying, okay, I'm going to get cut off 3 times and I'm going to be ticked off about a person not going on a green light. And now I have the red light. You know what I mean? You have to, get yourself out of that mentality and getting wrapped up in the world and being in your own world.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
so true what you said.
And it's a lifestyle change because it's not like you said before. You take a course, you finish the course, and you're done.
Right.
It is nothing like that. It's a
You're never done.
whole, you're never done. You will be
Right.
doing it till the day you leave this earth.
But it's a good thing, though. Don't
Yes,
look
it
at it as
is.
though you're drinking castor oil. You know what I mean? It's something that it's gonna
Yes.
be working good for you, and you're never gonna want to drop it.
Right.
It's like anything. It's like falling in love with someone. You know what I mean? You want
Yes.
it to last forever.
And
But
it's
eventually you're gonna have to work on that relationship. The
absolute.
feeling is not gonna be the same. It's just the way it is. So you need to
Yes.
decide and be disciplined of being positive as opposed to being negative or reactive.
Yes, absolutely. So again, Paul, how do people connect with you?
Yeah. My email address, Paul Jr. Conti, Conti, @gmail.com. Or you can, my text line is always open, 401-741-0162. The website I'm not giving because it's under reconstruction right now. So,
Okay.
I'm getting it transferred. So that's why. Why isn't he giving out his website? So that's the reason.
No problem. We know how that goes.
Yeah,
And so
right.
once you have it, just email it to me and I will
Sure.
add it to your interview. But you have
Perfect.
really made my day, Paul, because people send people to you like we were talking before. It's never a coincidence.
All right.
Never a
Yeah.
coincidence. And I'm in this place right now where I need to make a big decision. And just having this conversation with you has really made a difference in how I'm thinking about the decision
Yeah.
that I have to make.
Good. 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 That's great. And the other thing is, um, you know, with your faith, yes, your faith is important, whether it's a religious faith or not. But I happen to be a religious person,
Yes, me
and
too.
offering it up to God,
Yes,
there's nothing that can help you even more so when you have a strong devotion to God. That's
yes.
you can't go wrong there. You know what I mean? God never leads people in the wrong direction.
Never,
But
ever,
if
ever.
yeah, but even if you just obey the laws of the universe, you're going to go in the right direction. So
Absolutely. Wow. We have got to do this again. I am
yeah, for
so
sure.
enjoying this.
Well,
I can never get enough of mindset talk.
yeah, no, nor can I. But I want to thank you for your friendship. That's first and foremost. Even though we've briefly met each other, I find that you are now officially a friend from my standpoint. I can still be an acquaintance from your standpoint, but you are now a friend from my
Yes.
standpoint.
And I love that,
Yeah,
because we all need friends and we all
yeah.
need friends that help us be better.
Yes.
So I appreciate
Amen to that.
all of that. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Paul. This has been very uplifting and empowering for me, and I know it's going to be the same for my audience.
Yes. Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.